Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're gonna take a look at the T95A6 because this tank since the 9.1 update received a huge buff that is making it definitely more interesting than ever, and to be fair, it's becoming quickly one of my favorite tier 10 tanks. Here is why. First, the buff it received. Maximum speed came from 42 to 50 kilometers per hour, which means an addition of 8 kilometers. It's huge. And the second thing is the reload time that was reduced by 1 second, meaning that currently your DPM at tier 10 for heavy is one of the few that passes the gap of 3000 per minute. And yes, it's definitely a nice addition to this tank. The second thing is the playstyle of the T95A6, because this tank, since its release, was meant to be a medium, or at least a heavy that was fighting mediums on their sides. It's a tank to counter mediums. And both of the buffs it received are truly helping with that, because with the 50 kilometers per hour, you can get in position faster and therefore counter mediums faster. And with the 3000 more DPM, you truly have a beast in your hands, because your average damage is 400 rather than the 350 or 310 or whatever medium at tier 10 has. But how does this buff manifests in battle? This is exactly what we are about to take a look at. Basically, and you're gonna see it directly at the beginning of the game, the speed buff is truly something amazing. Just take a look at how easy it is for me to be in position. And I'm nearly competing with this heavy 4202 in position because we literally had the exact same speed. And this is the kind of things that makes the T95A6 currently meta in my opinion. You see that I arrived to my position, which is the middle of the map, in less than 20 seconds. And of course, as I arrive here first, I have the possibility of using my newly upgraded DPM to smash my opponents. Just take a look at how much damage we're gonna do at the beginning of that battle within the first minute of the game. We are currently sitting at 800 and it's gonna keep going because they do not care about us. We are gonna get 1.6k damage within the first minute of the game, which is something you could only dream of with the T95A6 back in the good old days. Now there is something to notice about this tank, because of course, even if it got buffed, this comes to a price. The T95A6, in my opinion, is currently one of the best heavies you can get at one condition and one condition only, already knowing how to play the game. Because of course, the T95A6 is extremely weak in two situations. The first is when you're facing heavies, because you're definitely not meant to fight those kind of tanks, this class of tank. And the second is when you are getting outrun by the mediums, because yes, even if you're heavy, you have a little bit more armor than the mediums, but the mediums still have a better DPM and better guns overall, which implies that if you want to play this tank correctly, you need to make sure not to be alone. For example, here I'm gonna get totally crushed by that TVP and that E50M because there is no way I can do anything against them. Therefore, that led to my death, but it's not a problem. We still did 4.3k damage. And one more good side, I was about to say downside, but no, good side of the T95A6 is that not only is it good, it's also a great credit farmer, because on a loss with 4k damage, I still managed to get myself 83,000 credits. Maybe that it's time for us to focus a little bit more on the playstyle rather than commenting our surrounding. So how do you want to play this tank? In the first replay you saw, what we did is going on the medium side, or a position from which we could use our 10 degrees of gun depression. And this is exactly what you are seeking with the T95A6. A position that you can take before anyone else, from which you can use your gun depression and only show your turret to your opponents. If you find a position like that, and plus if it's on the medium side, or at least if you are supported by better armored heavies, then you should be good to go. And this is exactly what we are currently doing in this game. We used our speed to get into position fast, which means that we locked the 60 TP and the WZ113, and they couldn't get any backup because we are too fast for them. We are literally one of the fastest heavies at tier 10 currently. And how are we going to use that speed for the moment? Just camping from the bottom and maybe helping our light tanks not to die within seconds. But still, we are going to push forward. And as you can see, we are still waiting for something interesting. I just want to make a quick pause on this situation to explain briefly what you're expected to do with the T95E6. What we are doing. I came across the corner. I sneaked my shell on the 60 TP. Why did I do that? Because I want to do damage, but also because I knew the 60 TP was not looking at me. With the T95E6, it's extremely important for you to understand that you are not here to take shots, except if it's an emergency or if it's the end of the game, but rather just make sure to snap your shells, push back to a safe position, wait for your heavies, bigger armored heavies to take the shots, and after you crawl again using your DPM, snapping and another shot. If you do not do that with the tank, you are really gonna struggle. And here you're gonna see something totally unfair, at least in my opinion, the RNG of that heavy 1A3 straight into my turret, because still you have a huge cupola that is easily penetrable by your opponents, and this is why this tank, even in all down, is not gonna do the job. You do not want to stay in all down, sitting here waiting for your opponents to snap some shots on your cupola. What you want to do with the T95E6 is snap your shell and pull back as fast as possible. You are not a heavy. I know it's hard for some people to concept that simply because the tank is labeled as a heavy tank, but it's not. You do not want to play like a regular heavy, otherwise you are truly gonna hate the T95E6. So what are we gonna do right now? I'm gonna use once again my mobility to be able to be the one doing the job. We sneak a shell on that type 58 and we're probably going to be able to sneak another one if we manage to get to the tank. Unfortunately for us, the type 68, not 58, sorry, is faster, which implies that we can't really do anything. And the guy on top of that is waiting for his teammates to help him. I know I have a TVP in my back. I do not want to take any risks. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to crawl down the hill and maybe snapping 1 or 2 shells on the type 68. There we go for the first one, but I gotta be careful. I gotta be careful because right now I do not know where the heavy-1A3 is, and I know that there is a TVP. So what I want to do is trying to escape from there, and you're gonna see something truly interesting that only a T95A6 would be able to. The heavy-1A3 is pushing me because he really wants to snap that head shell straight into me, and I managed, thanks to my great mobility, to escape. And this is the kind of things only the T95E6 at tier 10 is able to pull out. Not even a 50B, I think, would be able to do such a thing. And now it's a 2 versus 2. I know that the TVP is reloading, otherwise he wouldn't try to push back. And thanks to my great mobility, I'm gonna be able to go on him first. And thanks to my DPM, I'm gonna be able to kill him before he reloads. I'm gonna go for an adrenaline, of course, to avoid getting killed for nothing. And now we only have to get to the type 68 before finishing the game, and it's a win. And it's a win because I was playing with the T95E6. I'm not sure that with any other tanks in this specific scenario, I would have been able to pull out a win. And this is why, right now, I love the T95E6. And I don't know if it's going to be a popular opinion or not, but it's meta. It's truly meta. If you have the possibility of buying the T95E6, if you already have it, or if you sold it and you have the possibility of getting it back, you really want to get it back. Because take a look at that. The Type 68 just used adrenaline thinking that it will be reloading before me. And even if he's using adrenaline, I was reloading faster than him thanks to my 7.7 seconds of reload and my 3.1 thousand DPM. Victory, all enemy tanks are destroyed. We get the first class, and on top of that, we get those kinds of credits. It's a great credit farmer. It's a tank with which you're gonna have a lot of fun. It has an original playstyle. To be fair, if you're bored of the previous meta from the 9.0 update, maybe you should give it a try, because honestly, this tank is rocking currently. So hopefully you will share my opinion, guys. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. And personally, I'm gonna see you soon for a new video, probably talking once again about the 9.1 buffs the tier 10 received. See ya.